Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program is rated for all audiences.
Four Guys on Sports is sponsored by CrookedRiverRadio.com. Crooked River Radio is an internet radio station that is live 24/7 playing rock and adult contemporary top 40 hits from the 60s through the 90s. You can find us on Live 365, Simple Radio, Roku, Radio Garden, and even Alexa, as well as our website. Come on and join us on the Crooked River.
Welcome back.
Good to be back.
Good to be back.
Hey, man.
Well, we got a full house here today.
Yes, sir.
Good to see y'all.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I got to do one thing here. So, the screen's gonna go black here for a second. I gotta fix something. Since they went to this new version of the broadcaster, it doesn't save the old settings, and you always got to go in and fix them. But anyway, we're back. Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and good to see y'all. We got Shawn. We actually got Shawn and Gordon. Gordon, you're looking good, man.
Man, appreciate it.
How you feeling?
Good, but not feeling good.
Yeah, not feeling my best, but I'm looking good.
That stuff, you'll get rid of that.
You don't have that COVID, do you, man?
I got a torn rotator cuff.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yes.
What you doing, man?
Very painful.
Chucking
That's
rock?
the thing. I don't really know. My routine is, push-ups, cardio, a little light leg training for weights and jogging. But I think in playing with the grandkids and rest with my grandson, and I pick them up on my arm and do that, and maybe I strained it, and then the other day they were playing with me. I had about 3 of them on me, and next thing I know, man, my shoulder's hurting. It kept getting worse. So
I thought you was gonna tell me one of them lift that chain up on me.
I thought that woman was cracking the whip on him, to be honest.
Or he was
these guys got jokes.
He was defending himself.
Hey,
ow!
Erik, you hear them? They got jokes, man.
Yeah, I do hear.
And we also have a little guest in here.
Extremely painful.
We also have a guest in here with Mr. Nannarone. Good evening. Good morning.
Morning.
Good to see you too.
Did you see I sent you something, Pat? I know this is late for the show, but it's something that I was kind of making reference to before we
you guys
came on the air here.
While you guys are talking, I'll have to try to put it in.
Okay.
Is it a video?
I'm sorry.
What?
No, it's just text.
Oh, all I gotta say is happy first anniversary to our show too. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen.
Wow. Why were you having fun, man?
Boy.
We've been at it over a year. God.
Yeah, a little over a year now. So.
That is awesome.
It's been fun. I mean, look at what we've covered over the last
12 months.
12 months. Yeah, we've covered the disruption of Baker. We've covered Deshawn Watson. We've covered some really interesting other stuff in the NFL. Quarterbacks and halfbacks and all backs and whatever. And then not to mention the basketball and baseball stuff we've covered. It's been quite a year.
Yeah.
And there's more coming. I mean, even today we're going to be talking about, I'm sure Baker Mayfield's going to come up. And the continuing saga of Deshawn Watson, just to name a couple. It seems like the Browns are about the only ones in the NFL news. They ought to be happy with us. We're getting them coverage.
Yeah, I
is
don't know how
coverage.
Jerry Jones is handling that, man. You know, his ego is bigger than
Well,
all
that's
football.
why Dallas, or that's why the Texans settled with 30 people. They wanted at least a little bit of the news.
Yeah.
Man.
But
That is so amazing.
And
I mean, you talking about it, taking twists and turns. This whole Deshaun Watson thing is something else, man. It's
yeah.
totally, totally, man, very unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
well, I hate to say this, and they're gonna, there has to be a precedent set somewhere, and because of this new thing in the with the
CBA.
NFL and the Players Association, with this new contract and everything, they're gonna stick it to somebody because they just gotta. And I think Mr. Multi-billion or multi-million-dollar contract is the one they're gonna stick it to. Is it right? It would be right. It would be all right, as we were talking earlier. It would be all right if they applied the same standards to everybody in the NFL. But the fact of it is, they're not applying the same standards, and that's wrong.
And that thing I sent you was where in the CBA where it says everybody, no matter player, league official, owner, is supposed to be held to the same standards.
Did you
But
send me this in Facebook?
yeah,
Let me see if I can get it here.
yeah, it's just a screenshot.
Facebook has been doggedly slow.
Yes, it has.
There it is.
But it states it's a little small because the writing is
You know,
thin.
well, why he's looking for that is just an interesting thought. Is that personally, and people don't, a lot of folk would think that it's not that much pettiness that goes around in pro sports, but it really is a lot. And to me, man, even the fact that the Houston Texans is ready to, come up and settle in this nonsense that's not supported by a judge. And the reason why I say it's not supported because there's no charges brought. And I think it's ridiculous. And it seems more personal to me because actually, when you think about it, who stands to lose the most? The Houston Texans or Deshaun? Clearly Deshaun. So the fact that Houston Texans pays a settlement, somewhat, is an endorsement to the statements made by these several claimants. And I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous, actually.
And I guess the thing of it is not us not being able to really know or see what, hear what actually really and truly went on, the total circumstances. And we all agree that usually where there's, there's a little smoke, it might be a little fire there, Now, and we don't know to what extent, but at the same time, now, and the time that we're in, and everybody is, I hate to use that term, woke, but it's this whole, okay, we want to hurry up and show everybody we doing the right thing, Now, with that, granted, as a franchise and as a team and as Houston Texans, I don't fault them for trying to make themselves look good at the expense of someone because they're going to protect their own assets. At the end of the day, Deshaun Watson is just another football player.
Erik, whatever you sent me is way too blurry to show.
So with all that, I don't totally fault them in that, Now, the other thing of it is that, surely it can't be as bad as they're making it sound, but it can't be as light as he would want everyone else to believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. But the reason why I say it's hogwash, baloney, bull times five is simply because the Texans franchise, quote unquote, the brand that it is not affected one way or the other um, by this settlement. Does not matter, because as much as the Texans are the Texans, they really are the NFL. And these accusations, it does not hurt the NFL brand either. I don't care what any commentator says. It doesn't. No one has an, because it's not like it. It's not substantiated. You know, there's claims, they're unsubstantiated, and in addition to being unsubstantiated, they're, you know, I guess if they would have come out and said, you know, the claimants have put forth something to evidence or even suggest that there was some sort of physical infringement, not just, you know, things said or anything like that. Because if you take this away from the NFL, I can remember one time my wife got struck by a manager on her job, and in so doing, you know, there was we couldn't necessarily prove that it done it, but she shortly thereafter miscarried, and man, she got no resolve, and they were like, well, you know, we can't physically see where this person really, we don't see evidence of whatever, even though we know that it wasn't even a question of whether it took place. That was already established that it took place. She got goose egg, and they think we don't want to really, you know, leave this person with a stain on their record and this, that, and the other. And it just seems like, you know, you didn't really sustain anything, and we can't establish cause and effect, and all this garbage.
I am really surprised at what you're telling me.
Huh?
I'm really surprised at what you're telling us.
No, and then you look
Because
at
of the
this
simple fact
nonsense
that,
like this, because somebody may have, you know, TV suggests that all this is cool and everything all the time. Somebody done something, and yet still, you know, and the company, man, I'll just call it for name. It was Kaiser Permanente. And then you have something like this with the NFL, a bunch of women, you know, going after a guy that's got a bucket full of money, man, you know, and all. I'm like, what nonsense. I mean, this to me is ignorant, and it's just a joke. It's a disgrace when I think about a situation like that, and then I think about a situation like this. I think it's ridiculous. You know,
But you also got to look at what I had made reference to earlier with Robert Kraft. I mean, he was on video doing some pretty not so good things, and he didn't get any punishment. And there's other owners, Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder, who have been accused of stuff that was pretty bad. No punishment from them, but according to the CBA, they're supposed to be held to the same level as the players.
and why weren't they?
I don't know about all that, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is real world here. You know, billionaires, they're above the law. Billionaires and politicians are above the law.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I'm gonna leave the rest to that portion of it alone, and we'll go back to Deshawn Watson, you know, and his situation, and then I'd love to touch on Baker and
But
what's
I
going on
mean,
there.
Gordon, that ties in. If Deshaun is not getting, or is getting a pretty big punishment, why is why are the owners who are supposed to be held to the same standard according to the CBA, why are they not being held to the same standard?
I'm not totally sure which each one of those case was of what they were quote unquote doing or not doing. But say this again, they got more money, man. That's what you're not hearing what I say. They got enough money, enough influence.
Yep, yeah, but
Deshawn Watson, I'm put it like this, and I hate to say it like this because it sounds ugly, but and I'm cleaning up some, but he's just another dumb athlete to the rest of the world. It is what it is.
If you see on the screen, Gordon,
Hang on
once
just a
Pat
second.
gets it back, I had this section of the CBA that states about everybody has to be held to an equal. Yeah, it's up here. From the CBA, from the league's website, this section that states that that owners, players, team officials, coaches, whatever, are all supposed to be held to the same standard. Where Robert Kraft did this, what Deshawn was accused of, but he was caught on video doing it. So they threw it out in court because the person was illegally recording him. But still, that was caught on video, illegally recording or not. So how could he not get punished somehow? I don't know how they would punish an owner, but, how could he not get punished for it when he was caught on video doing it? And this is just, with the Deshawn thing, it's just he said, she said.
Okay, and I hear what you're saying. Again, what you're not understanding is this, man. The law is for the lawless, and it's really only applicable to those who don't have enough power and influence. And I think everybody else gets it. They know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Look at these billionaires. Kraft is a perfect example. Look at our political situation as it is, and look at politicians down the stretch. They don't go to jail, man. You do that stuff, you going to jail. They're gonna throw your broke behind in jail, man.
I'm not even saying jail.
No,
but I'm saying like suspension by the league. Yeah.
No, but they're gonna punish you. The things are gonna happen. But really, that's like saying, okay, I'm the owner of a company. I'll put it like this. I'm the owner of a company. I'll do something that violates something, and the law says the rules and the by rules of what we have in place says immediate possible termination. Who gonna fire me? I own the company. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a double standard.
So
right.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's not gonna happen that way. I hear what you're saying. It might not be fair. Yeah. But guess what? Life ain't fair.
but yeah, and that's, oh God, yeah, that's so true, and it's very unfortunate. But even in this particular case, this matter, it doesn't even seem like it's like, oh, just a dumb athlete thing, we're gonna make him. It don't seem like that. It seems like there's frustration in that, the guy's compensation is unprecedented. And the fact that it's quote unquote this particular team, because it seems, it does seem conspiracy, type thing to me. It's that, okay, the fact that Houston, Texas done what they did, it does add a degree of validation, so to speak, to these claims. The fact that, okay, there's something there that no one else knows that they are not sharing, and this, that, and the other. And so they do this to, they want to make it right, and this, that, and the other. And it adds this, and that further stains, and it further interferes with what's going on now with the Browns and Deshawn now that he has moved on. And I'm saying it's garbage to me. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, if they settled, then okay, they took the high road. Okay, well, let Deshaun continue doing what he's doing. Okay, he had the year out, regardless it wasn't quote unquote. They did not say, hey, you're suspended and you're out. But the fact he took that out for that year, I'm like, man, let this thing go. The folks got some money now out the deal. You know, I'm like, man, I'm like, what is this? And in fact, get the dude some help then. If he done whatever it is that you guys say he done,
That's a very good
warranted
point.
him getting that warranted a settlement to these women, get this man some help because it sounds like he has some emotional.
I mean,
issues, some
allegedly,
issues.
allegedly he's going through counseling right now. He claims he's going through
Yeah,
counseling.
that's where he
It
needs
kind
to
of
be at.
incriminates
You know,
Houston, though, in terms of why they settled in the first place, too. So
Okay, think about this. They already got a settlement anyway
exactly.
from Watson. So
From
what they're
Watson as
doing is
well.
this is what they're doing. Okay, all right, we're gonna make it go away. Now keep in mind
That's
what
the
they put out there.
that's the whole
The
thing, Jordan.
franchise, that's peanuts. A league,
That's what I'm saying. To the franchise, that's peanuts.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, but what they're
Excuse me, to the
doing
NFL is peanuts.
is that okay? We trying to show y'all we up front, we good, we you know, and we just want this to go away. The other part of it is this: okay, when we do the settlement, now what that settlement says is y'all
Okay,
shut the
talk.
ham sandwich up.
Yeah,
and we don't want to hear no
talk
more about it.
Yeah,
And we're not going to admit any guilt.
Right?
exactly.
Nobody admits any guilt. Nobody, you know, because they may be on the hook for something that we don't know about. So I guess that part doesn't concern me. My biggest thing is what's going to happen? How many games is this dude going to miss? That's really more what my concern is.
And that's the point. To me, at this point, all bets should be off. Once you take that settlement, to me, it's a done deal at that point. They've been made more than whole. Because I'm saying I can't imagine what he done. I can't imagine what he done that quote was the absence of a physical engagement. What he could have done that would have warranted somebody getting, you know, 100,000. I can't imagine that.
I don't know.
How he could have traumatized them so much that warranted that much.
I'm like over the course of my professional career, man, I have been humiliated time and time again in the sight of unfairness, you know, of individuals that have either been biased toward people, you know, like me, or just honoring ignorant individuals. And to think that at the end of the day, what the designated resolve was to get over it. I'm like, so how is it that this guy is held? I mean, that you get fined to this degree and potentially forget fine, but then now you may be further penalized to something, man, that's promoted. I mean, it is promoted in our media, man, to the utmost, man. It is the coolest thing in the world to be a fornicator, man. I mean, what is this, man? I'm like, come on, man. Come on already. I'm like, come on.
Well, I mean, I guess it's the whole consensual, non-consensual thing. If he didn't have consent to do what he did, I guess I'm trying to play devil's advocate, not that I agree with that, but you know, if he didn't have consent to do what he did, there's one thing. But then again, there's not really proof. This whole thing is just a he said, she said thing.
The consent
There's
thing,
no
though,
proof one way or the other.
the consent thing, though, is the fact that that's a criminal act. If there was no consent there, that would have proved itself out. If there was no consent, that
hold
would have
on.
been a
How's
crime.
there proof that there's consent? Unless you make somebody sign a contract or sign their name
What do you
and
think that
say
they
I
did,
have
Erik?
consent, then how do you?
They were doing that. They were doing that. He had consent forms when he was going to these places. Or not the NFL, but the team was giving him a consent form. I've read about that 2 or 3 different times.
Well,
And then
I mean,
the ones that he
no
didn't
consent for the alleged sexual acts. That I doubt the team was giving him.
They
forms.
treated this like hush money, and if you're going to get hush money from us, you're going to take and just be quiet, no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, like I was saying though, and if I'm wrong, in that case, it's with consent. It's always in any case like this, not just Deshawn. It's a he said she said thing unless there's contracts or paperwork signed saying you have consent. Because somebody could just say, "Oh, you have consent," and then go back 3 weeks later and be like, "Oh, it's an illegal sexual act."
Yeah,
I mean,
basically,
just going into a general public side of things, not to someone who's a millionaire. Just in the general public, somebody could do that. One night feel like, oh, I'm okay with it. 3 weeks later, that same case be, sexual abuse.
He took his willy out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He had consent to be touched and massaged, but he didn't have consent to touch.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
If that's what he done,
Yeah.
But and then, man, dude needs some. I mean, if he done, whatever it is they're alleging, of which we don't know, but let's say, the alleged incidents are worth $100,000 a piece. Dude need help, man. But suspending him from the game,
Yeah. How's that really help?
I don't know how that helps. I don't know how that helps. I guess they think that's going to motivate him to. But you know what? Here's the other thing too. People think that, quote unquote, you can do something to motivate. You can't motivate a person. People are self-motivated. If you're not self-motivated, you can't be motivated. You can be punished or you can be rewarded, but you can't really be motivated. That is something that comes from within.
Agreed. Okay. So let's can we move on to the Baker thing? I'm tired.
Oh
Yes.
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Baker.
These new endorsement deals.
That's going to be an interesting situation down there in Carolina. Baker versus Darnold.
Who wins out?
That's the question.
We'll see.
Well, here's the thing. Who do they want to win out?
Well, you got to look at it like this. Look, okay, as a team, and I think it's not about who do you want. It's about, okay, who can provide us the best chance of winning. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing I like about sports. It's not so much who do you want as much as who performs the best. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's who you want. Well, the fans is who you want.
But
to be honest,
but as a team, you got to look at because the fans. The end result is the fans will cause you to lose money because not like they have the greatest fan base down there anyway. But the thing of it is wins bring about money.
Some fans are just loyal. Look at Dallas fans. They don't care nothing about wins, man. They're at the stadium.
Yeah, the Browns are the same way.
It's always hopeful.
Browns are the same way.
But there again, Dallas is the biggest, has the largest fan base in all of NFL.
True.
And why, I don't know. We hadn't won anything really relevant in over 30 years.
I like that though. I can appreciate that though, man. You don't want no fair weather fans, man. Fair weather fans. Be a fan. Support your team.
I agree with. Yeah, I'm a fan because I live here, so I'm gonna follow the team. A little something for me with the Browns, but heck, man, I hadn't, it's been almost 40 years, you know. But so yeah, I'm a fan, and I grew to be a fan because I didn't even like the Cowboys. But then as I watch sports, but also I guess I'm a fan of sports in general. I love sports. I used to even hate the Dirty Ratbirds, but I've grown to have I'm not gonna say like them, but you know,
I was gonna dump you.
respect for them.
You tell me you like the Ratbirds, you're done.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Our screen to go back. But I mean, you know, it's as a fan of sports in general, because you know, don't get me wrong, man. You know, when it comes to the Ratbirds, man, my second favorite team is who's ever playing the Ratbirds. You know, but
unless it's Pittsburgh, and then you hate them both.
Well, why not Pittsburgh, Pat?
Because
Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks.
I had that queued 5 minutes ago. I hope you knew that. I had that queued up 5 minutes ago.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I knew when you said that. I played right into it.
Thank you for playing into that like that.
Here's what's cool though. You know, Baker already said, man, he got the 11th circled on his calendar.
Let him.
He just waiting.
Bring him.
You know, he waiting.
Bring him.
And here's what I don't like though. I don't like the fact that Deshawn is likely not going to be there, because I want him to go against them full strength. Now he'll be going against the defense full strength, but he won't be going against a full strength offense.
Well, the better storyline would be Jacoby Brissett destroying Baker and just humiliating Baker in front of a national audience.
I just read something this morning that said that Cleveland if amid the Deshawn Watson decision, is probably going to sign another quarterback for a year. And if that happens, Jimmy G is coming.
That's what I've said. Jimmy G.
Jimmy G is coming here. And I would just absolutely positively love to see that. I've wanted him since he was in New England.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad quarterback.
And guys, I'm gonna say this. Keep in mind, the team that Baker's going to,
they're not trash. They're not you know, they're not a playoff contender. They're not trash though.
They trash. They trash, bro. Bro, they trash.
I don't think they're trash.
They trash. They trash.
Do
you think they'll win 8 games?
He's got some good pieces.
Do you think they'll win 8 games? Every team got some good players.
Well, you got to look at how you're saying that, though. Are you saying they're going to win 8 games because he's going to aid them in winning, or they're going to win 8 games in spite of him? So, I mean, you got to.
It doesn't matter. They ain't winning 8 games, man.
Kind of hard to win in spite of a quarterback.
They're not winning 8 games. It doesn't matter if it's Darnold, Baker, Shaker, Faker. That team is garbage.
I don't know. They're not a playoff team, but they're not trash. They have some good pieces.
Yeah,
well, I mean, they're trash.
They have good people on it.
They're trash because they have the 2 league-leading quarterbacks in interceptions since 2018, battling for a starting spot.
Well, look. According to one commentator that I heard speak, one Skip Bayless, man.
Oh, okay.
Baker is
that
all,
buffoon.
Baker is all man. I have never seen now that's a fanboy there. He loves Baker.
Just needs to hand it off to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
That's
their
best player there.
Then the defenses will stack the box, and then they'll not be able to get anywhere.
You know what would be a beautiful game, a beautiful story is that I would like to see Cleveland's defense go after Baker the way they went after.
You can bet on that.
Oh, they will.
Like when
wait
that
till
Bill
Miles
Boyd up
Garrett
in,
gets a hold of
Chicago.
him. Wait till
Oh,
Miles Garrett
Fields.
takes a chunk of
Yeah,
him.
I like to see him go after Baker like they went after Fields up in Chicago, man.
I can't wait till I see that first sack by Miles Garrett on him.
But yeah,
As he stands over him and celebrates.
it's they are a couple years away from being a good football team.
Cleveland
Uh,
or Chicago or excuse
I'm
me,
talking about
or
Dallas.
Carolina.
I'm talking about Dallas. No, man, I gotta leave my Cowboys alone. I'm just still upset because I felt like they were too stagnant this off. I felt like they stepped back this off season, so they went backwards. But I don't know. But no, I'm just saying that they are. If you don't win 8 games in the NFL, man, you trash.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, they not trash. They got some good pieces, man.
Yeah, everybody got some good pieces.
Baker should be able to get that team to the playoffs.
Everybody got some good pieces. Dallas should be able to get to the playoffs. We don't know if they will.
Who is the quarterbacks coach down there? Is he any good?
I don't know.
That's where you're gonna. That's the only thing that kind of concerns me is the coaching. If they've changed the coaching from what he's used to up here, if it's better, then we could be having a little bit of a different discussion in about 5 or 6 months.
And keep in mind, as much as I like McCaffrey, he's not that type of just pound the ball running back. He's a good running back, but he's not that type of back.
You're actually going to be playing against an $18 million quarterback when he comes up here, if he plays. I'm kind of under the impression that I think Darnold's a better quarterback, to be honest about it.
I don't know. I heard all that rant and rave about Darnold, but I've never been impressed with Darnold. I don't know. I think you put him in a bag and shake him up, and one is no better than the other.
Shake and bake, baby.
I guess we'll see.
The quarterback coach down there is a guy named Shawn Ryan.
And he coached one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league.
No, Kim wasn't
Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray?
That was a
He
little
coached down
overrated.
in Arizona.
You know what? Well, Baker's going to wind up with the starting job.
I think he's going to wind up the starting job.
I think so. And,
I think so. But here's the thing. I don't think they're going to win because of him. And that's the problem he had in Cleveland. They win in spite of him.
No.
His ego, man. His arrogance.
No.
He's too immature, man.
The thing of it is this. Baker needs to be in a system where you have a run dominant offense and he can bring you some success. But if he's not, he's got to be the guy to go out there and makes plays. He's not that quarterback. There's a lot of guys like that.
Well, let's
look around the league, and even those teams where you see teams where quarterback, man, he's leading the league in passing yards and all that, but they're not winning enough. That's you see that, and I think Baker just needs to be in a situation where he can, if they have a ball dominant offense, I put it like this: if they had a ball dominant offense and a coach like a Bill Belichick, Baker would go out there and win you a lot of games. And the reason I say that is because of the coaching style and the grip on coaching, on how things run. You can't be where, he's not a guy that can just lead you. He's got to be a game manager. There needs to be a coach that gets around him and says, okay, this is how we're going to play the game. and now you manage the game. You don't go out there and play hero ball. But
And
I mean,
I-
don't get me wrong. You got to make plays sometimes. There'll be opportunities to where you have to go out there and make a play. But to Baker's credit, and I think more so than anything is he wants to play hero ball. You got those quarterbacks like that. Tony Romo was like that. As much as I like, now he didn't have that off the field arrogance that Baker had, but he was one of those guys that, you know, man, I'll mess around and throw you out the game. You know, I'll throw you in a game or I'll throw you out the game because I want to show everybody something. And a lot of quarterbacks, in order to be a quarterback, a lot of times you got to be a little bit arrogant. You got to have some, I don't want to call it arrogance. You got to have a little moxie, a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
But there's a point where it's too much arrogance, and I think Baker has hit that point at some points, where he's come off as way too arrogant. And
I can think of one place that you're right about that, Erik, and that's when he was when he mocked the fans. And what was it, the second to the last game or one of the last games he played here? He actually, and then he went into the locker room and talked about how the fans were assholes and everything else.
Yeah, where he said, "How about I come to you, or how would you feel if I came to your cubicle and booed you?" That's one of the most ignorant ass comments that I've ever heard.
Well, and the thing of it is this. First off, as a professional athlete, man, okay, you shouldn't wear your feelings on your sleeve. I don't care who you are. I mean, because they're going to say some things aren't true. You look around and we know there are players that have been scrutinized, you know, unmercifully. And, but it's still, you got to distance yourself, I guess, in your mind, you got to say, look, okay, these people are fans, all right? But at the end of the day, it's about me and how I do it, you know, my ability, my confidence in my ability, and knowing that I go out there and do the best I can. Because the end of the day is I'm only as good as my last touchdown, my last jump shot, my last home run. It doesn't really matter, you know. But that showed his level of immaturity where he got into his little feelings a little bit, you know. You got to be able to write that off. Now, not saying that it shouldn't bother you. I know it's got to bother you. Well, I was listening to, you listen to different players and some of the stuff that they go through the fans and the media. And man, it's like, look, dude, oh man, I'd like to catch this dude in a dark alley, you know, but you gotta let it go.
There's certain protocols.
Anytime you're in a business like this, or like he's in, even even if you're in the radio business, I've learned this in my time with trying to run the station. If you wear your heart on your sleeve and let people in too far, they're going to take advantage of you, and you're going to get what Baker got. The simple fact of it is, they always preach this when these teams celebrate in the end zone. Act like you've been there before, not like this is your first time. And that's that's the kind of attitude that Baker never caught on to. He kept acting like that was his first time ever. And because of that really did him in. He was acting like a little kid most of the time.
But you know what?
Selfishness.
The whole thing of I guess self-exploitation or controversy, it does sell. It does sell. It makes you relevant. And, you know, for a lot of these folks, I think they come to believe that what's the saying, when you reach a certain level out there, all publicity, there's no bad publicity. All publicity is good publicity, but you got to think of how to, and I disagree with that, because we see how guys go out and represent themselves and they get the best endorsements and they move on and do things. And the other part of that is this. Just because a guy gets a bunch of money, and when we talked about Deshawn Watson, I made the statement of just a dumb athlete. That's what a lot of people look at him as, but a lot of people don't, and they assume that now that you have money, you should know how to act a certain way, or now that you're there, And Baker is one of those ones that everybody talks about AB, okay. Now, and the things that he's done. Baker is a guy he's like that. He needs to be, he needs that attention. But at the same time, he wants someone to stroke his ego. And when you get there, you got to realize everybody's not there to stroke your ego. And the bigger the stage, the bigger the criticism. So yeah, you don't worry about getting your ego stroked. Don't worry about all those things.
Hey guys, this time is kind of getting thin though. Kind of want to switch, and if we can switch up a little bit, talk a little bit about the NBA and this breaking news, man. Russell Westbrook and his agent, man, parting ways, citing irreconcilable differences.
What are they divorcing?
And irreconcilable differences, man. And I thought it was interesting too, because at least from the stories that they have out there, is that the irreconcilable difference is the opinion on whether or not he should stay in LA or not. And Russ wants out, and his agent was apparently trying to explain to him that he felt the best place for him right now is to remain there, so he can have opportunity to repair his damaged reputation.
That is a situation there where I think it's probably best for Russ to get out if he can. And, because of, again, that's another one where emotional, because I follow him as well. And man, because he has been shredded, and a lot of it justly so on his performance. And he's not the guy he used to be, because he made his career off of his athleticism. Well, he's older now, and he's not as athletic as he used to be, because he was never a polished player. He was just so athletic. And so if he can get out, and, if that's the form of damage control, good for him. I think it's better for the Lakers if he can get out, So it may be good for everybody. I think it would be win-win. It'd be good for him. Yeah. And I wish him success somewhere.
Here's what's funny though. When you look at the, because we talk about him getting older and this, that, and the other. His career, okay, his numbers here with the Lakers, okay, versus his overall. So his career numbers is 22.8 points a game.
Yeah.
The Lakers, it was 18.5. But here's what's interesting. His field goal percentage with the Lakers was 44.4%. And his career field goal percentage was 43.8%. So technically speaking, he's a better shooter with the Lakers than he is over his career. And it's just funny, isn't it? So
it's just getting glorified because
you got that small sample size. That's the only reason that is. Man, you have a accounting background. What the numbers are.
The camera is a funny thing, isn't it?
It's just
when
getting
he's
glorified.
When he's in Oklahoma City, and when he's in Washington, and to some degree in Houston, those camera lights just wasn't that bright. But him with the Lakers, man, Oh, those lights were just overwhelmed. They had halogens on him.
Yes, yes.
And everybody saw,
LEDs on him, man.
I mean, it's just, I thought it was interesting when you look at his career numbers versus numbers at the Lakers, and the shooting percentage is actually better, with the Lakers.
Yeah, it is whole career. And I hear what
Oh
you said.
boy.
And
Oh boy.
it is funny when you put it like that. But that's a guy, man. I feel bad for him because he never was a good shooter. He never was
No.
a great, he was never those things. It was just that he was so much faster and jumped so high and just freakish athleticism is what made him great. And he was able to win some games. Man, he got Oklahoma to the playoffs when they shouldn't have been. Along with that, and he did some things, So in that, man, I just hate to see the way he's going down in flames now. And it doesn't help that you with the Lakers. You're also still with one of the most the face of the NBA. He still is. So it's just it is everybody sees. So, but
so you guys have any confidence that the Lakers are going to get this Kyrie Irving deal done? I'm trying to understand if the holdup is apparently it's rumored that San Antonio is kind of coming to the rescue table, but the thing is, the Spurs won an unprotected first round, but the Lakers are a little hesitant on that, and I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? I'm like, in this particular case, you got Kyrie, LeBron, and AD, and some of those new rookies, man. Some of these guys I saw in summer league look pretty darn good. Scottie Pippen's son looked very good, but some of these young players look pretty darn good. And then you got the big from Washington, and I'm like, man, they would have a legitimate chance. And I'm like, you holding up on what? And I get it. You don't want to, you want to hold on to some of this stuff because they're probably saying that, hey, Bron ain't going to be there, that much longer. He's getting older. But you're going to have Kyrie and KD around for a minute.
Maybe.
And I think Kyrie will thrive in LA.
Yeah.
I think that is just the medicine that the doctor has ordered. And I think, hopefully it takes place. I would love to see it because really all it is Cleveland rewind, because AD is nothing but Kevin Love. Where AD is strong, Kevin Love's weak. Where Kevin Love's weak, AD is strong. And they're to me, they net out as players. I really don't care what people say talking about AD is this, that, and that. I don't think AD is much better than Kevin Love in my estimation. But I think that's Cleveland rewind, and they got a couple of nice, young players in there. I think they can make a little noise. I don't know if they win the championship, but I do know this: Kyrie Irving is literally at his size, 6'3", is one of the most unstoppable and guardable players, man. This game seen.
I mean, one-on-one, I think he's probably the top 5, player in the league on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah, he may be number one. I don't know who's more. I don't know if any player that's more difficult to stop than that guy. I mean, the guy is unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And I would love to see, and this version of Kyrie to me is a far better scorer than the version was in Cleveland. However, this version of Kyrie mentally seems even looser than the version in Cleveland. But I would love to see it. I think it would be great for the league, though, to have that guy in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform. I think it would be great for their franchise, too. But I don't know if we're going to see it, because it doesn't look like now, flipping over a little bit to Kevin Durant, looks like now that deal may be on hold. At least it has to be held up, considering Yaton was one of the players that they were believing was going to be in that deal to make that take place. So they can't do that now, not immediately.
4 years, I think 4 years, 100 something million.
Yeah, he got a nice deal. Yeah, he got a nice deal. I think he just, to me, I heard some people say, "Oh no, he doesn't really." To me, he deserves it. To me, he's a very good big. He's a very good big. They just don't use him enough, but I guess because they figure, hey, look what everything else we have. But when you call on him, he responds.
On a little side note, I just read baseball note. Cleveland Guardians second baseman Andreas Jimenez is going to be their starting second baseman because Jose Abreu, I don't know, Altuve, sorry. Altuve is no longer going to be in the All-Star game.
Too bad. So I looked at that Jimenez's numbers. I mean, if he had the double the amount of at bats, he'd be the best second baseman right now in baseball in terms of offense.
I mean, yeah, he started off struggling, but like recently he's started to actually get hit kind of the hang of the majors because he's a rookie, I believe.
I guess talking about Ayton, Phoenix smashed
That's what it was. Yeah,
Pacers 4-year, $133 million offer.
Yeah. I want to say something else though. Kyrie had Dallas as one of his points on his wish list, and Dallas was like, "Nah, we're not."
I don't think it would work there. I don't see that.
I think offensively, it would work because Kyrie isn't, per se, a ball dominant guy.
Right.
But Kyrie is he's untrustworthy. Man,
I think the only person that he'll play, the only person I think that he could thrive with is LeBron. I really believe that.
I think he could thrive with Bron because the other thing is that, because I don't know how, but he's going to get him to practice. He's going to get him to do the things that he should do. Whereas Kyrie, he might decide, man, you know what? I don't feel, I'm stressed. I'm taking some time off. The dude is he that dude, man. I'm telling you what, if he worked for me, I'd give him all the time off he wants.
Brooklyn fixing, they was like, no, we're not gonna give you no long-term deal, man. Man, you don't show up to work enough.
Yeah.
And the thing was, the only team out there really willing to give it to him is the Lakers, man.
Yeah, they're desperate.
They are desperate, but even them, they have some reluctancy in them. That's the reason why they haven't done, the deal so far yet. I'm like, yeah, I better go and get that deal done.
But remember, I told you guys, I said that dude, whenever all this went about, and I told you, I said it's not gonna work. And I told you, I said that dude is nuttier than chunky peanut butter, and he's different. I hate to say that, but his mind is he's a unique individual.
He's probably taking. He might be taking those games off because he believes the world is flat. He don't want to go to the edge and fall off.
That's right.
Could be.
Those teams are right on the edge.
I heard somebody say though he doesn't really believe that. That was just for shock value. The whole flat Earth thing, that was just for shock value, that he doesn't actually believe that.
I don't know.
All I know is I put him along there with what's that dude, Kanye?
Yeah. Kanye West.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kanye billionaire now, right?
Still
Damn.
nutty. He just happens to be a nutty billionaire. I don't know if he's a billionaire, but I know he's nutty.
Yeah,
You know, gold digger.
he married the gold digger. What'd you say?
Say, man, she got her loot, and man, and he's still nutty, man, because she ain't with him no more, man.
Well,
That boy got more money, more problems, man.
anything else we need to cover today before we wrap her up here?
That's it.
We've been at this an hour and 7 minutes. Not too bad. Anyway, let's go ahead and put a wrapper on it. Shawn, you want to do the honors?
I think today's show was pretty interesting, talking about the stuff going on with Deshawn, and then talking about Baker's trade. Seeing how that should pan out. And with the NBA trades and free agency going on, some of the bigger rumors and all that, we'll have to go on with what's going on with the major leagues and coming up with the All-Star game coming up here shortly too. So,
and just think, next week I think it is the NFL actually the
training camp
starts. Yeah. 3 weeks we'll be watching football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's before we do wrap this up, any of you guys watch the last USFL game?
No, I did not.
You missed one. I'm going to tell you the truth.
That's a little
Let me
bit of it.
put the camera on me here for a second.
Talking about the Hall of Fame game?
Yeah, the one at the Hall of Fame. That
That's
was
the
a hell of a game. If
Yeah,
those quarterbacks wouldn't have got hurt, it would have been a complete different ending. But I've never. I thought that was as much fun to watch as an NFL playoff game. I really did. There was strategy there. There were different. Some of the stuff was really different to watch. I loved that you could hear the calls. Every time a coach would make a call, they were tuned into the headset, and you could hear the coaches making the calls on how the offense and defense was going to work. It was really pretty cool. And there was some stuff there.
Very exciting. I think it's it is very exciting, and there's a lot of talent there.
I think what they need to do is they need to take the NFL needs to take a couple of hints from them. Yeah, because especially with that play calling stuff, that was just awesome.
That'll never happen. The NFL will never allow the TV broadcast to tap into the headset so you can hear their calls. That's even worse than the Spygate.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Yeah. Though I think it's exciting, I don't think the NFL need to go there though.
Roger Moore, who used to play James Bond, had went around saying, "I will never do another James Bond movie again." And the James Bond people came up, Ian Fleming and all that, and said, "We want you to do another flick." I said, I'm never going to do another one. It ended up, they offered him so much money he couldn't turn it down. And you know what the name of that the next James Bond flick was? This is a little trivia.
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Never Say Never Again. And that's where that name came from. On that happy note, let's end this up. We will,
a Missouri town named Uranus.
Well, sorry about that.
That too.
That was a fluid slip. We do have things coming up this next week. This show, if you can, those of you that listen or just caught the end of it or whatever, if you want to hear the whole show, we are on several different platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, DLive, Twitch, several others. You can see and watch the video there. Or if you're into just a regular podcast, we do have a podcast feed on Spreaker. This will be posted over there fairly quickly. I've gotten to the point where when we get done with the shows, I've been putting them right up there. So if you get a chance,
with the Spreaker, it distributes out to iHeart Radio, Spotify,
there's 20 different
Amazon
platforms.
Music, and Apple Podcasts.
There's 20 different
Apple Podcasts.
platforms that it distributes to, so too many to mention.
If y'all are listening on, or if you want to listen back and have one of those outlets that you listen to podcasts off of, you can also get us there. So.
But this is kind of new here because of the fact that there's only been 2 or 3 shows that were actually put on Spreaker. We're going to start doing this on a regular basis now because of it actually does help our numbers on the radio station. I think that's about it. We do have a new show coming up tomorrow morning, which is it's a new old show. We had done 2 years ago. Beth Roos and I had done a thing called Tales of the Lore Hunter, and we're bringing that back. We had its first re-episode this last Sunday. The thing's going to run on Sundays from 11 to noon, and then it'll be posted on all the outlets. We still do have Radioactive tomorrow night at 7. Topics for that. You guys are going to love this. I'm going to do effects of sugar mamas on society.
Effects of what on society?
The effects of sugar mamas on society. And there's been some other stuff that has popped up here. There's a thing I caught on TV last night that I told Flora we need to discuss. A little bit of space.
There's a story behind what triggered that topic, too.
But we're going to take and do that one. Then, of course, we got World According to Elmer coming up Tuesdays from 7 to 8. That one's going to be a good one, too, because of the fact that I actually talked to the repeater that's on the ISS, the space station. And you were able to hear my voice come back. You knew it was the space station because of the frequencies and that one was on. I'm going to run that clip, and Jerry and I are going to talk about that at some length. If you're an amateur radio operator, by the time you get done, hopefully you'll know how you can do the same thing I did. So, and then we have Buckeye Time coming Thursday. God knows what we'll talk about on that show. It's Erik.
Yeah.
It's Erik.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's always a fun show.
Anyway.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, with all those plugs in, let's rock and roll out of here. Y'all have a good week, and hopefully see you all next Saturday, and hope you enjoyed the show. Talk to you then.
Later.
Surgery.
This has been a Crooked River Media production.